Hi. Are you tired of all the Call of Duties and Battlefields and just wished for a more realistic game that isn't Escape from Tarkov? Boy oh boy do I have the game for you. Introducing Insurgency Sandstorm. Insurgency Sandstorm is an ultra-realistic tactical shooter developed by New World Interactive and released in 2018. In this game, you are playing as either a Virgin Army dude or Chad Slav Insurgent. There are two ways of playing the game, those are PvP and PvE, which translates to, if you are a boomer and don't understand basic game terminology, to player versus player and player versus environment, respectively. The player count is unfortunately between 2,000 on a bad day, 3k on average, and sometimes 5k on a very good day. So the game is by no means dead, nor is it CSGO, but it never dipped in the 3 digits, but you best queue for EU servers for the shortest queue times because that is where most players are playing. Though I would like to give a quick disclaimer, if you like fast-paced gameplay like Warzone or Apex Legends, then this game is definitely not for you. Second disclaimer, if you are not willing to get immersed in the game world, you are most likely not going to have a lot of fun. And the last disclaimer, I am not a seasoned professional and have little under 50 hours on this game, so I'm not by any means good, but I'm trying to shed some light on this game because I've had more fun in the hours I've played than I've had in thousands of hours playing other games. I'm looking at you, Counter-Strike. Every weapon in this game has a plethora of attachments that you can customize to your heart's content, but you are limited by a loadout currency, so you have to optimize your loadout to the best of your ability. And there's also a handful of classes, and I will go through each one giving it a single sentence. Rifleman. You are playing this class because all the other classes are taken. Breacher. Good for close quarters combat, but not really good for anything else. Advisor. Basically Rifleman but with better weapons. Marksman. A cookie clicker turned into an FPS until you realize that you're the last one that's left on your team and have to push a point with a 7x scope. Demolitionist. This is the dev's attempt at adding Demoman from TF2 to the game, and you can act as a one-man artillery unit and designated helicopter shooter. Observer. You're a rifleman that is superglued to the commander. Commander, you have superglued an observer to yourself, or you will keep yelling at your team to get a pet observer, and occasionally call in bomb runs that always seem to do friendly fire no matter how far away you call them from your team. Also, refinery sucks. Since the game's intense dedication to realism, friendly fire is a common occurrence, just like real life, so get used to getting shot most of the time by your own teammates. And now I will go over the game modes and what I like and dislike about them. Firstly, we'll start with the PvE game modes. The only two game modes in this category that are even worth playing are Nighttime Hardcore Checkpoint, which I discovered while recording this video, and to be honest it looked and felt great. And in this game mode your HUD is very limited, your teammates don't have an indicator until you get very close to them, and you all have to agree to using something to distinguish each other, like a flashlight or a UV light. And the game mode forces you to work as a well-coordinated unit, because the enemies are deadly and your teammates can be deadlier if you're not careful and coordinated. And your movement speed is extraordinarily low, so you can't just run to cover. And there's survival mode, where you have to fight through a map with only a pistol and a random weapon and a handful of magazines you get from a box at the start of the round. So this game mode keeps you scavenging while throwing hordes of enemies at you, while you try to push up with your teammates. These two game modes do a really good job at keeping you at your feet. Normal Checkpoint is basically Outpost with extra steps, and Outpost is the most boring game mode in the entire game, because you have to sit in a corner and click on heads the entire game. Now moving on to the PvP side of things, but before we do that, I need to tell you about the most important feature that this game has to offer, and that increased in replayability by tenfold for me, and that is proximity chat. I didn't realize how much fun I could have talking smack to my enemies as we fought each other. I will combine 3 game modes together because they play very similarly, and those are Frontline, Firefight, and Push. But first I will tell you about each game mode's specific quirk. Frontline is where you and your enemy have a set amount of waves, requiring 4 people dead on average to activate. You win the game by either draining the enemy's waves or capturing all of the points and destroying the enemy's last point. Firefight. You and your enemies don't respawn until the round is over or your team captures a point. Push. It's essentially frontline, but one team is trying to push while the other is defending, and just to let you know, this game mode is the worst on the PvP playlist, and it's essentially Outpost, but instead of shooting bots, your head is the one getting clicked. And now let's go over the positives and negatives of these 3 game modes. Starting with the positives, this game mode's focus on team play and sometimes forces it. Number 2, teammates are especially talkative in this mode, because a team that communicates is more likely to win than a team that doesn't, so it's a chance to communicate with people and probably make some friends. And I've made a couple of friends in these game modes because of the proximity chat. Number 3, forces you to be a little more careful with your steps because of the waves feature. And number 4, at the end of each round, things can get a little intense because there's a lot of pressure on the last few people left on each team. But sometimes the last guy can be part of the special forces and sit in a corner while the enemy team captures all of the objectives. And now the things that I dislike about these game modes. Number 1, refinery. Number 2, more often than not, people are camping corners the entire game. Number 3, because of the waves feature which makes these game modes unique, it is very frustrating to play these because once you die, it can take up to literal minutes spectating before you can get into more action. And now let's talk about the last PvP game mode, which is domination. In this game mode you have unlimited lives and you have to capture points to win. You respawn instantly and don't have to wait for a stupid counter or your teammates to die. This is by far the best game mode the game has to offer, because it doesn't require any specific events to be fun. You can jump into it and have a great time regardless of whether you have teammates talking or not. And to be honest, this game mode is best suited for all of the COD and Battlefield kids playing this game. And why I'm saying this is because of the very fast-paced nature of this game mode. And now to the negatives of this game mode. Honestly, I can't find anything bad about this game mode. It takes everything bad about the previous game modes and throws it out of the window. And now closing thoughts. Keep in mind that this game is $30 and I wouldn't recommend it at this price point, but buy it at a sale, which the Steam Halloween sale is probably coming on the 29th of October, so do what you must. I hope you enjoyed my attempt at highlighting this hidden gem of a game and doing my part in trying to prevent this game from dying. So if I provided you with any new information / entertainment, feel free to give this video some interaction by liking or disliking and commenting so I can get more views and get more motivated to do more of this stuff. This has been the Danger Tater, and I am out.